People get inspired and deeply motivated through different languages that they listen to. And in one way or the other, you have to figure out what is appealing to you. And that is why today I decided to focus on one gentleman who, for me, has been a source of inspiration. And if you listen to what he has to say, his methodology, the training capacity, the number of years that he has put, everything that is very, very relatable and practical in his own language, then you'll realize that the man I'm about to introduce is one really amazing person. Myron Golden just does it for me, based on his history, from his upbringing, having polio, because the parents had different challenges, and so many things that he has experienced. Myron Golden is the man you need to listen, glean, and learn quite a lot from. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hoping that you would be happy to be able to learn through Myron Golden's experience and a wealth of knowledge in everything that he does. Follow along and listen as he shares nuggets of great financial success.
Read books about things that affect your life. Take notes on your thoughts when you read them. And then go think about what you thought about when you read it. And spend some time doing that. Thinking is the hardest work most people never do. Read more books. Attend more classes, workshops, and seminars. Turn off all of your stupid electronic income reducers and go learn something. What's an electronic income reducer? The TV, the radio, the phone, the computer, the screen. Unless you're using it to learn something, hey, guess what? If there's an area of your life that ain't working, there's something you don't know. And you think you have time to entertain yourself? But Myron, I like amusement. No, you think you like amusement because you don't know what amuse means. The word muse means think. The prefix a means against. Amusement is against thinking. Amusing? You want to entertain yourself and you're broke? My kids were teenagers when we got a television. Why? I wasn't going to watch somebody else living their dreams while we're living a nightmare. Don't you want to see them win? I don't want to see them win. I want to be them win. I want somebody else watching me win. Why does it look like watching somebody win? Like, go team, go. There's my team. They don't know you, boy. They don't know you. You are non-existent in their cognitive awareness of the universe. They are more aware of the mosquito that bit them 5 minutes ago than they are that you exist while you jumping up and down like you lost your mind. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, unless you're broke. And I know I'm talking a little tough for people, but I'm talking from my life experience. This is what I did. See, people want to have what I have, without doing what I've done. And they want to do what I've done without becoming who I've become. And I don't mean becoming Myron. I mean just becoming the kind of person who is willing to go learn the answers that are apparently missing. I think about money. This is how I think about it. When I get $1, I don't say, oh, what can I go buy? Like, what can I go buy? What bill can I pay? No, the first thing I think when I get some money is, okay, what can I use this to? What can I use this money for to acquire or enhance an asset that'll produce more money? How can I turn this money into more money? That's my first question. And you wonder why you're struggling. You're struggling because all of the money that comes into you and your family, you have to go out and get it. That's why you're struggling. If you think about it, when God made man, where did he put him? Did he put him in a factory? No, he didn't put him in a factory. Oh, he put him in a bakery, right? Because of the economic pie, right? No, he didn't put him in a bakery. Where did God put man when he made him? In a garden. Isn't that fascinating? Because what you do is you plant the seed and the seed becomes the asset. The seed produces the fruit. And the fruit is what you live off of. Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat. And see what's happening, you haven't planted any seeds for assets and you wonder why, like you're doing it. God gave us clues. You're doing it in a different way than he set it up and you're wondering why it's not working. It's not working because he didn't design it to work that way. He designed it to work a different way. And so what you got to do is you got to work within the parameters of how God created the system. Is what I'm saying making sense? I mean, I know I'm getting a little animated right now, but is what I'm saying making sense? This, to me, that does not make sense. I remember the first job I got when I was in college. If you don't like your life or some aspect of it, why don't you change it? Like, why don't people change their life? Why do people do something that they clearly hate doing and then decide, well, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life? To me, that does not make sense. I remember the first job I got when I was in college, and I needed a job bad because I didn't have enough. My car was broken down. I had this apartment. I had to pay rent. I'm like on my own. I'm 900 miles from my parents. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I need a job. So my friend got me a job. And my friend was way bigger than me. He was probably 225 pounds then. And 6'2", and strong as an ox. And he got a job here. So he said, I'm going to see if I can get Myron a job here. Because he was like literally my best friend. And so he got me a job pulling sorghum on a sorghum farm in Lowell, Indiana in July. I literally thought I was going to, 5 minutes in, I knew it was a bad idea. This is not good. This is not good. You are not going to live through this day, bro. Like, it's hot. There's like eternal sorghum in this field. You're never going to pull it all. And I pulled sorghum for 8 hours. And I prayed and prayed and prayed, dear God, just let me live through this day, and I promise I will not tempt you by coming back here tomorrow. And I went to the boss when I got back to the barn, and I said, thank you for this job. I really appreciate it. But I want you to know, even if you have to keep my money, I will not be back here tomorrow. Now, some people would say, that's crazy, but you needed a job. I could have just said, well, this is the only job I can find. I could have said, $8 an hour in 1980 is good money. I could have said, all I got to do is show up and walk down these aisles and pull the sorghum and lay it on the ground. But when something isn't working, sometimes quitting is the best option. People say quitters never win and winners never quit. That's what I call a truism that isn't true. The reality is all winners quit. That's why they're winners. They quit doing stuff that don't add to their winning. They quit doing stuff that doesn't make them more of a winner. And I am here to tell you, unless you start figuring out what in your life doesn't fit in your purpose and let go of some of it, you are going to be miserable your whole life, and you don't have to be. He said, count it all joy. So we can only have the right perspective when we have the right perception. Well, what is the right perception? Count it all joy, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. What does that mean? Well, when it says the reason you count it all joy is not because you love trials, but because you know that when you go through the trial, it's going to work patience into your life. What is patience? Patience is persistent, consistent endurance. So he's saying, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations or different kinds of temptations, because you know that going through this trial is going to make you stronger for the thing that God has for you to do in the future that you're not strong enough to do right now. So what's he saying? He's saying, count it all joy. You can live in a state of perpetual joyfulness even when you're going through something difficult, because you can be thankful for the fact that the God of the universe is getting you ready for something he already has ready for you. Wow, that's a different perspective. Rather than just thinking of the situation I'm going through as my destination, I think of the situation I'm going through as my preparation. I wish I had some help in here, oh Lord. Because when I think of the thing that I'm going through, the difficulty that I'm going through while I'm going through this trial, if I think of it as my preparation, then I have something to be thankful for. I can be thankful for the fact that the God of the universe is making me ready for what I'm not yet ready for. See, Joseph realized yours. Are y'all tracking? And so, when you understand, and when I say when they do things for their reasons, they basically have one reason that's going on. There's only one thing you've got to get them to do to get them to buy. One. How many? One. Okay, what's the one thing? You got to create an environment that makes them feel like buying. People do things for one reason and one reason only, because they feel like it. They don't do it because they understand it. They don't do it because it makes sense. They don't do it because the price is right. They do it because they feel like it. And so your job in selling anyone anything is to create an environment that makes them feel like buying. And if you can do that, oh, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make in sales. There's no limit to the amount of sales you can make. Like, when you can say, Marin, that sounds like manipulation. Okay, so let me break something to you, baby. I'm gonna look in the camera for this one. If you're grown and broke, you've already been manipulated. Because nobody set out at 18 to say, you know, I can hardly wait to get grown so I can be broke. So grown and broke equals already been manipulated. I'm not manipulating anybody. They already told me what they desire. I know I can help them get it. So, and by the way, I know that probably sounds a little bit too confident to some of you. I can't fix it because I know. I don't hope. I don't think. I'm not wishing. We've already done it too many times with too many people. I know it works. It's a skill set. The difference between a talent and a skill is a talent is God-given, and skills can be acquired by anyone who's willing to do the work. And closing is a skill, and it can be acquired. And other people, you look at them, and they live on the struggle bus their entire life. It's like every time you see them, they're in desperation. Every time you see them, they're in trauma. Every time you see them, they're in drama. And it's not like they go back and forth. It's not like, well, one day it's success and the other day it's struggle, and one day it's trauma and the next day it's destiny. No, it's like people are in a lane. And the people you know are in a lane. And sometimes you feel like you're in a lane, and sometimes you're in a lane that you like being in, and other times, if I could just change lanes, can I get a witness? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to endeavor to show you the reason that is the way that is, so everybody tap yourself on the chest, say me, so that you can do something about it. Man, I'm so jacked for you. So I discovered this in a conversation with a coaching client probably 20 years ago. I was talking to one of my clients, and I said, how's business? And they said, I'm really trying. And I immediately thought, that's fascinating, because I am not really trying. And I was succeeding at what to me at that time felt like a very high level, right? I might have been making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, which was way more money than anybody I had ever known in my entire life growing up had ever made, right? And business wasn't a struggle, and there was no trying, and I wasn't trying to get clients, and I wasn't trying to generate leads, and I wasn't trying to be profitable, and I wasn't trying not to fail, but it was just all happening. My coaches, I called Jerry Clark. I said, Jerry, I want to ask you a question. Are you trying to succeed? And I'm going to quote him. He said, trying to succeed? I'm not trying to succeed. And I thought, that's what I thought. People who are succeeding in any area of life are not trying to succeed any more than people who are failing in life are trying to fail. In both cases, it's automatic. So number one, that maybe trying to succeed is a contributing factor to failure. Maybe. What we don't realize is protection works against preparation, because protection is to keep me safe in my current environment. Preparation is to transport me to a new environment. And the new environment that I desire in my soul to go to, my conscious mind, my manual mind says, yeah, I know, but what if it don't work? What if I leave here and I can't get over there? What if I get on the bridge and the bridge falls down? Are y'all tracking? What if I start a business and the business fails? 80% of businesses fail within the first 3, and we have all of the statistics stacked up in our manual mind to protect us from the negative outcomes that the people who programmed our negative mind, our manual mind, told us are possible if we escape the clutches of their programming. That's why so many people believe so many things that are false. Time is money. Well, hard day's work for a hard day's pay. 8 hours work for 8 hours pay. Whatever that means. All that stuff that we bought into. You can decide that you are going to go against the cultural hypnotic societal mechanism that has programmed you to be sick, broke, misinformed, and fearful, and you are going to fly in the face of it, and you're going to go in a totally different direction, but know that you are going to be challenged thereby. But you can still do it. It's not going to be easy. It's just going to be worth it. Do you understand that the reason our manual mind oftentimes protects us from making decisions that are in our own best interest is because the beliefs we hold to be true in our current state, we got them from somebody who loved us, but they were as lost as we are. I believe there are some reasons why we self-sabotage. I know for me, I went from being in the pit of poverty, like I was pitiful poor. And you say, what's pitiful poor? That's when you're so poor, poor people feel sorry for you, right? And I went from that to making significant amounts of money. And by significant, I mean, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a month, $100,000 a month sometimes. And went from that to broke again. And you think when you're making $30,000 a month, there's no universe in which I could go broke again, right? You think same thing happens with people on their fitness journey, right? They'll get in shape and they're like, okay, I finally did it. And then the next thing you know, they'll blow up like a balloon again. I know that happened to me as well, right? And so it's like, why do people self-sabotage? I believe there are some very, very clear reasons. And I think the number one reason people self-sabotage is because they bump their head on what I call a stress ceiling. And the stress ceiling that's the barrier to, as well as the doorway through the next level. And so what happens is we're achieving this objective, and we're climbing this ladder of achievement, whether that be financial achievement, business achievement, relational achievement, physical, like fitness achievement. We're climbing this ladder, and all of a sudden we hit our head, and when you hit your head, it hurts, right? And so we're like, wow, what was that? And the reason we bumped our head on that stress ceiling is because we're about to break through to a new level where new skills are required. And we don't have those skills to make it on that level. In fact, we don't even have enough skills yet to make it to that level. And so what we do is we begin to evaluate subconsciously in our automatic mind. We begin to evaluate, how much is this going to cost me? Not necessarily financially. How much is this going to cost me in becoming for me to develop the skills that'll help me break through to that next level and then be able to sustain myself at that level? Really successful seem. Have you ever seen how odd they are, how weird, how different, sometimes strange, even like to the point of, that's ridiculous. Well, one of the reasons they're doing that is because they understand that success and status are not synonyms, even though sometimes they travel together. They'll start struggling. What they'll do is they'll come in, they'll have a little bit of success early, and then just kind of go off and do their thing and think, well, I don't need this coaching thing anymore. But coaching is the one that brought them to the dance of success.